Thanks for being here. Harris and me, we will speak about our collaboration between SUSE and Microsoft and how we leverage our products to ultimately collaborate better and also lead to a better product in the end. My name is Robert Biro. I am from Microsoft. I am Azure Core Engineering. Our team is responsible for SAP on Azure overall. Harris?
My name is Harris. I'm with SUSE for the last 7+ years, working in the QA, and in the meantime working together with Microsoft.
Very, 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 very happy about that collaboration, and it's, I think, helping for both of us. Session today, we will just do a quick introduction of how we came together, why we came together. We will introduce the individual products. We will introduce OpenQA by SUSE. We will introduce SDAF, SAP Deployment Automation Framework that Microsoft brought to the partnership. And we will then walk you through to a showcase how this collaboration ends up, what's the benefit is. We will have a Q&A wrap at the end, but it's a smaller team as well here. So if you have anything, feel free to raise hands. We will take your question. I think it's beneficial for everybody if we do it this way.
Exactly. So, please.
Yes, so let's start on the partnerships, how we came together. Microsoft, as us coming from the SAP workload, SAP, as we know it, everybody, is a mission critical and very hard or difficult product to work with. From everything has to be right. And there's a lot of dependencies which have to be right. In a public environment, we have the dependency on the compute, on the networking side, on the storage side. All of these things have to be working together because the customers deploy it. At the same time, so we can tackle that. We have automation for many years, working on the validation, on the deployment part of it. But there's also other areas such as the OS dependencies and the application stack, the SAP stack on top of it. And a lot of the issues from below the stack, from the hardware stack, from the cloud stack, really show its ugly issues. The devil is in the details, as always, only on the OS side, on the application side. So we came together, SUSE and Microsoft, long collaboration for many years. We came together, our teams, from, hey, Microsoft needs a better QA environment for handling these things, for detecting issues, for working on the day-to-day stuff like OS patches, support packs, or SUSE releasing new OS images, the OS images that you build the virtual machines in the cloud with. They are deployed by the partner, by SUSE. Now, there is also some sort of regression. It's software, and there's dependencies between all the layers. This is where we came to work together, and that has been really our goal from this collaboration between companies. Raise the quality. Raise the product quality, detect issues quicker, without anybody noticing or opening a support case, working together as a team.
Hand in hand. And as a coincidence, SUSE is working since a couple of years in the meantime on a solution like that, bringing QA to the customer environment. In this case, this is the Azure cloud. However, it turns out it's, like Robert said, great collaboration, perfect timing, and great results as well. We had the goals to basically, like Robert mentioned, increase the quality assurance, increase the automation, or to perform the automation, and simplify the software delivery, also with a slightly look from the supply chain security as well. For that, we are using OpenQA. OpenQA is an open source tool delivered under the OpenSUSE umbrella, OpenSUSE project, and it's in use since 2009. Was a hacking project, so SUSE has something like a hack week project every 6 to 9 months. Our developers are allowed and forced to develop new things, and one of the results of the hack week was OpenQA. In the meantime, go-to tool inside SUSE for quality assurance, quality engineering. Basically, the main idea of OpenQA is to behave like an administrator. So there is no need to touch any software directly. The tool is intending to act like someone in front of the keyboard. So it controls keyboard and mouse and uses it like a user. Behind the hood, under the hood, is the OpenCV. So we have heard on this SUSECon a lot about AI and KI. Basically, we are using this since 2009 because OpenCV is nothing else than deep data inspection tool, which basically helps you to analyze changes in the data streams. And this is what we are actually doing here, reading the actual stream input of the output, basically. Support existing console tests, scripts, and system under test. It's basically everything what is done as a bless you, as an execution command. Bless you again. And OpenSUSE is used, OpenQA is used by obviously all the SUSE derivatives, OpenSUSE derivative as well. In the meantime, Fedora, Alma, Rocky, and Debian are using it as well, same as GNOME Foundation is unique to Q8 their deliverables. How is SDAF run by the OpenQA? So SAP application framework is executed by OpenQA. And all of this is happening in the SUSE data center. So SUSE OpenQA instance is behind the firewall in our own data center. And the system is booted, OpenQA is installed, and then we are using Terraform to create the deployer. Deployer is basically a jump host, or literally a jump host, which is then used to execute the Ansible and Terraform stuff in the cloud. This deployer is set up. SAP systems are done provisioned via Terraform from the deployer. Then deployer, obviously, before that creates a workload zones. Ansible is executed for the HANA SR. The test is executed, and as a QA tool, we have several hundreds. Historically, we have several hundreds tests which are focusing on SAP clusters in the first place, and these tests are adopted for the use in Azure Cloud. Then we collect the results, do the cleanup, and everything as it should be. Here we can see how OpenQA, oh, there it is. So every single step is documented, and if we go on one of those areas, we actually see the console output and can track that as well. So, Microsoft Azure SDAF. Robert?
Yeah, introducing the other product, SDAF, Microsoft Azure SAP Deployment Automation Framework. Let's call it SDAF from now on, okay? If you would be so kind. Next slide. So SDAF has been created a few years ago, quite a few years ago, and the aim is really to make enterprise-ready, scalable SAP architecture from scratch. As in, the customers come in. Let me start. It's an open source project, so it's publicly available. It's based on Terraform and Ansible and a few other, but mainly Terraform and Ansible. And what it does, it creates, like I said, it says on the slides, full lifecycle solution. So it deploys the actual cloud infrastructure on Azure, starting from the piping, the groundwork of a house, from the networking stack all the way up, and all the way up to compute, storage, and building up the very, very specific SAP-specific OS preparation steps, and ultimately the actual SAP installation. It would go through all these steps, and since it's meant to be enterprise scalable, we have different layers, like a control plane on top. We have a separation, production, non-productions as well. That is entirely configurable in the software. And then, as Harris mentioned as well, what OpenQA uses, things like workload zone and the SAP systems. So there's a lot of layers to configure, set up. It takes a little bit of start, so not a click and go solution. It's really meant for enterprise consumption, where you have a lot of compliance and naming conventions to sort out. But at the end, it deploys everything that you would need for an SAP landscape. If we click to the next slide away, it's based open source, Terraform Ansible. It's very wide support. So starting from the usual use cases of SAP HANA, SAP NetWeaver, all of that is supported at Windows support, at SQL support, at Red Hat, Oracle Linux, Oracle ASE, forgetting DB2. All of these products are supported, including highly available setups, all handled in the SDAF code, as is. So it is, as I said, and I keep saying, a scalable enterprise solution. And once it's deployed, it's a deployment framework. It's not a lifecycle framework. There are a few other Azure services which do tie into it to provide operational control, stop, start, backup, what have you, through Azure Center for SAP Services and SAP Solutions. Yeah. In the end, open source product, Microsoft maintained, but also with the collaboration from partners, from such as SUSE, heavy contribution over the years as well. Other partners, customers as well have contributed to it and continue to contribute. And our aim is, it's here to stay, it will continue to be used, and we are really happy on this collaboration that we can do as going forward as well with OpenQA. OpenQA being the consumption of an SDAF deployment, so it built on top of that.
Exactly. So speaking about the enterprise environment, I mean, as we were speaking about, enterprise environment is always bound to the customer and has to satisfy the customer needs. With this solution, we are basically providing to you out-of-the-box deployment driven by OpenQA. So you put in what you need, and even the tests are customized to your needs. That's the big advantage of this approach and this solution. So how it works. Let's look in the HANA tests. So we have, as we started the collaboration, we got 5 different requests from Microsoft where the need was to improve the testing. One of those was HANA Scale Up, sorry, performance oriented. And obviously the integration started. We started to work on SAP SDAF deployment. Once this part was done, we moved to testing. We can see here basically how the test is structured. And we can see here on the left side, so pacemaker, HA setup after the test is executed. Everything is fine. We don't have to go from top to bottom. It's basically a test sequence, but we always do. We did it on-prem. We are doing it also on other cloud providers. It's always the same. We will kill the primary node. First, we're gonna kill the HANA. Then we kill the node and wait for the for HANA for the cluster to take over. Make sure everything is fine. Then we're gonna kill the node, take over, wait that everything is fine. All of those steps are protocoled, and as we have seen before, all of those tests are also recorded in OpenQA. So we have basically the test for the future reference. Robert mentioned that one of the biggest issue is the maintenance updates. So with every new package, with every new image, those tests needs to be executed. That means that this kind of a maintenance testing is run every single time something changed. So this test sequence is doing every time the same thing, killing the HANA, killing the node, waiting for the things to come back, and then executing the same thing on the second node. Same process again. We are executing HTTP stop for the takeover, then we are killing the HTTP, and then we are killing the node. Making sure that everything is working fine. There is also negative testing in case something doesn't work as it is. Tests will fail and we will be noticed by that. Here on the left side we see HA again, and we also see the HANA SR, how it should be in the best possible way. Once again, second node. And then we also have the example how we find out that something is wrong. So every time something fails, we have a notification that the test sequence has failed. We also see which step sequence failed or test failed, and then we have the console output basically as administrator, as someone in front of the screen, human readable, what went wrong. In this case, we have a Python issue, once again, Python issue, and we can debug quite quickly and see what's happening there. So we see the regression, we see which deployment step happened, and we have the console output, and the most important part, we have the test artifacts archived. I spoke about supply chain. This is one of the biggest issues, making sure that all the test artifacts are there in case we need it later on. In summary, advantages and benefits, you're getting 2 for 1. So you get the enterprise-grade Azure SDAF deployment, and also you get production-ready customized staging and testing. So you have to, we are always speaking about enterprise, enterprise, enterprise. Enterprise means downtime is not allowed. We have impacts on the customer, we have impacts on the production. To minimize that, you have to build some kind of a QA or a staging area. So this is what we are doing. We are docking in the pipeline Microsoft already had, creating a QA environment, executing all of those tests, and then once everything is green, once we are ready, it can go to production. Nothing more and nothing else. And obviously, it's open source, provided and tested by Azure and us from SUSE.
I would maybe quickly add as well, the collaboration that we are presenting has started, is ongoing, and keeps ongoing. And the direct fruits from the collaborations that we have established and shown here are hopefully something that you will feel as an end customer, but probably never know the details about. That's the fruit that it's bringing to us, the test framework, deploying everything from scratch, running the tests that are defined, and identifying, something broke. That's really the huge benefit for us, and hopefully for the customers. And you can also see the individual products that have been used to build this. So once again, if you want to use it, there is a foreseeable investment. You can access all the documentation. We have a slide about that. It's a fast learning curve, and OpenQA is executing the tests out of the box. So everything is in Git, and we will provide all the tests which are adopted to this kind of a deployment ongoing. We are starting with HANA Scale Up, but since SDAF is providing you the opportunity to install all the SAP products in the cloud, our plan is ongoing to provide all the tests also publicly available on Git. Docs and links. Everyone who wants to have the presentation, or you guys will get the email as a summary. All of the information is there. How to install, how to set up, and how to use the test, and the OpenQA examples, how other projects and companies are using it. We also have the SDAF links with
main repository and the samples.
I'll quickly add up to that a little bit, if I may.
Sure.
Tomorrow there's a very fantastic session on SDAF itself, so without OpenQA SDAF use by Kona, Coca-Cola One North America, an IT services company for Coca-Cola bottlers in North America, which have used SDAF, and they will be presenting how they have used SDAF to deploy 24 terabyte HANA environment from scratch in a very, very good record time and very successful. So if you want, I think it's 3 p.m. tomorrow, session number 1356. Yeah.
So you can see actually SDAF as it is, as it works. Real life example from the customer. And also there are a lot of videos available. And by that, we are open for Q&A, 20 minutes.
Quick and easy.
Perfect.
So I have a lot of customers been using SDAF, and I work with Avanade, so we have a relation with Microsoft. We buy the idea, super nice. How do we convince clients who are existingly using other QA tools in terms of testing, in terms of having the dashboards that they already have set up, since they are already using SDAF? That's the first question. Second is, how often do you update the list of test cases, and what are all the, if you can give some examples of the test cases that you have?
So the first question, you don't have to convince them to take anything else. The best idea is to additionally use OpenQA. So OpenQA is capable to communicating to everything what has an API. And this is obviously customization. So you will need to put a work in to customize it, but you shouldn't replace anything. It's too much pain, too much work. What you gain by using OpenQA is additional layer, and you will basically get one dashboard for all tools. Because what you have is the test sequence from start to begin. Test sequence in terms of I'm really booting the system, which is going to be executing the testing, until test execution and all the artifacts saved. And the second question, how many tests?
Yeah, how often are you going to update the test cases?
So updating test cases is a different topic. Currently we have 17,400 something tests used in this project. What name I should not know, what should I not say? We have a product manager here in Rome, and yeah. So there are over 17,000 tests what could be executed. Those tests has or may be adopted. Everything what we do together in the SDAF deployment project, it's gonna come, once after another. But it depends if this test case is one-to-one to be used in your environment. You probably have another backend, you probably have another workload, and all of those things needs to be adopted. All of tests what we are executing in SUSE QA are already online, so you can use it. There are the links over there. There it is. So exactly. With those two links, you will get access to, or you will be forwarded to GitHub, and all of the tests are on GitHub as well. You need the needles, the screenshots for your distribution, but the tests are there.
Just one more thing I wanted to say. I just want to echo that this solution really works as SDAF. I've been using it for a lot of customers. We are also presenting a customer success story at 6, so you're invited there.
Thank you.
Listening.
Thank you very much indeed, yeah.
That's it? Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.